Hello everyone, Soulflame here, playing on my Discipline Priest, Sylvania. As always, a quick look at my glyphs and talents. It should be noted that, due to the somewhat random nature of incoming damage in the healing mode, there's no single way to do each round correctly. As such, all of my advice will be more general, but I will do my best to guide you through each round. I've intentionally elected not to use any major healing cooldowns in this video. You can use yours in any round that's giving you trouble. All of the countdowns and warnings you'll see as the video progresses are provided by the Proving Grounds module of the DPM add-on. If you don't already have it, I suggest you get it. As a Discipline Priest, you will have two major types of healing: Atonement during periods of light damage, and Direct for heavier damage. Atonement is a passive ability that heals the lowest health party member for a fraction of the damage done by your holy attacks. While Atonement healing, you will use Power Word Solace on cooldown on the primary target. You'll also use Penance on cooldown as a heal if needed or as an attack if not. You should also use Power Word Shield on the tank on cooldown. And finally, you will use Shadow Word Pain on all available targets and spam Smite as filler. If you have extra time in between rounds, take advantage of it and top everyone off. If everyone is already topped off, you can pre-shield the tank using Power Word Shield and Clarity of Will. In this and any other round with a Hive Singer, you're going to want to prevent as much of the AoE damage as you can by interrupting Sonic Burst. Your teammates will interrupt the first two casts, and you should handle the third using Silence. Watch the raid warnings for your teammates' interrupts so you'll know when it's your turn. The other thing you'll want to do is DPS the Hive Singer as much as you can. Using Archangel greatly increases your healing, including your shields and atonement healing. This allows you to delay switching to direct healing. Additionally, Clarity of Will can be cast on the tank to absorb additional damage if Power Word Shield is insufficient to cope with incoming damage. Wave 3 introduces the Flame Caller, which channels a spell that puts puddles of fire on the ground. If interrupted or when he completes the channel, he switches to chain-casting Pyroblast at random single targets. Interrupt the channel to reduce the number of puddles around, and then don't stand in them. If one of your teammates, I'm looking at you, Suli, is standing in a puddle, use Leap of Faith to pull him out. Your other teammates may run through a puddle while repositioning, but they're smart enough not to stand in them. Pyroblast inflicts a decent chunk of damage. The best way to handle it is to target the Flame Caller, and then put a Power Word Shield on whoever he's targeting. Deal as much damage as you can to him between shields, but be warned that you may need to use Penance to heal more often than normal. Wave 4 features the same mob types as Wave 3, except that now they are large instead of small. The only difference is that large mobs have a little more health and hit a little bit harder. This increase in damage will probably be more than Atonement can handle. When healing directly, you're going to make just a few changes compared to your Atonement rotation. You will still want to keep Shadow Word Pain rolling on all available targets, and use Power Word Solace, Power Word Shield, and Penance on cooldown. The only differences are that you will now almost always be using Penance to heal, and your filler spell becomes Heal instead of Smite. Please note that as enemies die, incoming damage slows down. When you get to the point that everyone's health is topped off and stable, you can return to your normal Atonement rotation to finish off the round. Wave 5 throws a new mechanic at you, in that now new mobs will spawn in during the middle of a round. You start off with a Hive Singer. You'll handle him the same way you did during Wave 2. Damage him as much as you can and interrupt the third cast of Sonic Burst using Silence. As long as you help with the DPS, the Hive Singer should die right before the Flame Caller spawns in. You will handle the Flame Caller much the same way you did in rounds 3 and 4. Interrupt when possible, stay out of the fire, and pre-shield the Flame Caller's targets to take the brunt of the Pyroblast damage. If somebody's health is getting low, generally less than 50%, put a shield on them and then heal them with Penance if it's available, or heal if it's not. Your shields can also be used to buy you time for Penance to come off cooldown if needed. Flash heal is expensive, so use it only as a last resort. Blanketing the entire party with Power Word Shield is a perfectly viable strategy during a Flame Caller, and some light AoE healing such as Prayer of Mending and Cascade can also be helpful. Prayer of Healing is powerful but expensive, so save it as a last resort, and couple it with Archangel to increase its healing efficiency. Wave 6 introduces another new mechanic to you in the form of dispelling a debuff. Aqua Bomb has a short countdown during which it can be dispelled. If the timer reaches 0, the bomb explodes, dealing a high amount of damage to the target and anyone else nearby. It is cheaper by far to dispel it than it is to heal the damage it does, so be sure to use Purify promptly. Additionally, the tank damage ramps up quite a bit since both the Ripper and the Aqualite have hard-hitting melee attacks. Fortunately, as long as you handle the Aqua Bomb properly, nobody else should be taking damage, so you can just focus on the tank. Make good use of your direct healing rotation to keep him topped off. Use Power Word Shield and Penance on him on cooldown. If you're falling behind on your healing, then Clarity of Will is usually a better choice than Flash Heal. You use it in advance to prevent damage in much the same way as Power Word Shield, but it has no cooldown or debuff and stacks up to an amount equal to 50% of the target's maximum health. Wave 7 will have slightly lower tank damage than Wave 6 did, but makes up for it with significant bursts of single target damage on random party members. By now you've seen all of the available mob types, and you will handle them all as you have done before. Keep the Flamecaller targeted and pre-shield his targets. DPS as much as you can and interrupt on cooldown. Keep an eye out for Aqua Bomb and continue to dispel it quickly. When the Flamecaller dies, switch to the Aqualite and pour all of your damage into him. Making good use of your shields will seriously lessen the damage your group takes, but AoE healing may still be necessary. Remember to make use of Prayer of Mending and Cascade, and to use the Archangel buff when available. Also keep in mind that Prayer of Healing is an expensive option and should only be used with Archangel active. Finally, keep in mind that once the Flamecaller dies, all remaining damage in the round will be on the tank, so you can get caught up with your basic heals at the end of the round. Wave 8 brings it all together and throws a little of everything at you. In general, the key to surviving this round is handling the large amounts of AoE damage going out. This means that you should dispel Aqua Bomb immediately, interrupt Sonic Burst as often as you can, and blanket the party with Power Word Shield on cooldown. Use your AoE healing early and often as you don't want to get behind. Your primary DPS target will be the Hive Singer. If you help with the DPS, it should die right as the Flamecaller spawns in. When that happens, turn and target the Flamecaller immediately, as he is your new primary target. Interrupt his Invoke Lava if you can, and then start pre-shielding his Pyroblast targets. Check to make sure that Sully isn't standing in a fire puddle, and if he is, use Leap of Faith to pull him to safety. Now is a good time to mention cooldowns, because you'll probably want to use one or more in this round. Archangel is on a 30-second cooldown. If used at 5 stacks of Evangelism, it lasts 18 seconds, and increases your healing done by 25%. Of special note is that after activating Archangel, your next Flash Heal or Prayer of Healing is guaranteed to crit, making this one of the few times you will want to use them. You'll want to use this early and often, and it should be available in nearly every round, or sometimes even twice per round. Power Infusion is a 2-minute cooldown. When used, it increases your haste by 25% and reduces the mana cost of all spells by 20%, and lasts for 20 seconds. It is useful for dealing with large amounts of damage or for catching up when behind on healing. It would probably be most useful in rounds 5 and 7. Power Word Barrier is a ground-targeted protective bubble on a 3-minute cooldown. All party members inside the bubble take 25% less damage for 10 seconds, so you'll want to drop it on the melee group and stand in it with them. It is most useful for negating heavy AoE damage, such as from the Hive Singers in rounds 5 and 8. Drop it when a Sonic Burst will not be interrupted. Pain Suppression is a 3-minute cooldown that reduces all damage taken by a single target by 40%. It is most useful on the tank, so it would probably be most useful on Wave 6, but can also be saved in reserve for emergency situations. If you have questions or comments, you can reach me through this YouTube channel or on my blog. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope this video helped.